these 4 countries, we have in-house payroll. When I say in-house payroll, I hope you guys might be aware, but just I want to give some heads up on that. So we are maintaining employee data, master data within the Workday. We are maintaining compensation data within the Workday. Along with that, if you're running the payroll within the Workday, it's nothing but in-house payroll, which means you have employee data, compensation data, payroll related data. You can run payroll within the Workday. You can generate the pay slips, you can generate the paychecks. Coming to the external payroll, which means you have compensation or HCM, Workday master data within the Workday, but you are going to process the payroll with third-party vendor. An example, ADP, Paycheck, and GA. You have to process through the third-party payroll. And again, once they will process, they will upload the pay results and pay slips within into the Workday. And here we are going to learn NA payroll, North American payroll, I mean US payroll. Okay, we are going to learn US payroll, in-house payroll. So first, we'll talk about the tenant setup, like how many countries were implementing Workday within the in-house. And also how many countries were implementing payroll external for interfaces or integrations. That will be part of tenant setup. Along with that, we have several steps as well. Whether employee can access the pay slip, employee can view the paycheck. So those we'll talk. Then after, basic payroll framework. Okay, payroll processing framework in other terms. This is a basic setup and which is common for all 4 countries. Okay, it is common for all 4 countries: UK, France, Canada, and USA. So what we are going to learn here. So first we will create the period schedules. Okay, period schedules are nothing but we may have multiple pay groups, like employees will get salary on monthly basis. Some employees may get salary on weekly basis. Some employees might be get salary on semi-monthly basis or bi-weekly basis. Based on that, we have to set up period schedules. Okay, in this period schedules, we will configure or we will capture period schedule name, frequency, period schedule start date, period schedule end date, and payroll payment date. And if the payroll payment date is falling on Saturday, Sunday, how to adjust those dates. That we will configure in the period schedules. Then after we'll talk about run categories. So run categories is nothing but it defines which kind of payroll run we are running, which type of the payroll run we are running. For example, is it an on cycle, or it is an off cycle, or it's a reversal, or it is an on demand. Okay, so we have different types of runs. So we have to configure this, and here we are going to configure who are all part of this run category. Only active employees, or employees terminated not lesser than this month, or employees on leave with these conditions. We'll configure this eligibility rules in these run categories. Okay, so just asking a question: what do you mean by an off cycle and on cycle? What is the difference between off cycle and on cycle? Anyone? Okay, let me tell. So on cycle nothing but regularly we will pay the salary. That is nothing but an on cycle payroll. Okay, it might be weekly, bi-weekly, semi-monthly, or monthly. Regularly when you are paying, there is nothing but on cycle. When you say off cycle, an example, bonus payments or variable bonus, incentives. These employees will get on monthly basis, half yearly basis, or annual basis. Based on that, we have to configure the run categories. Other terms, we have on-demand run category. So on-demand run category is nothing. Let's assume we'll go with an example here. Let's say 40 hours the employee has worked in that week, and 40 hours employee work. The employee is supposed to get, let's say, $5,000. Okay, but when the employee got the paycheck or when employee got the salary pay slip, then the employee has realized the employee got paid only for 35 hours. 5 hours are missing. So question here: does that employee needs to wait till next pay cycle because the banking amount also done? No, you can immediately initiate on demand without waiting for next pay period. There's nothing but on demand. A reversal. So you can reverse the payment if something, some discrepancies, you have paid more than what the employee is supposed to get. Okay, then you realize when you're evaluating the results. Then you have to reverse it. Then again we have to correct the amounts, adjust the amount, then process it. That will falls under run categories. Then after, define payment election rules. So payment election rules supposed to configure with the finance team. However, I will tell you, this is a simple setup. So here what we're going to configure based on the run category, we will define whether the employee is going to get salary in the bank, I mean direct deposit, manual, or check. which one it should be defaulted, check or bank deposit. Okay, so we'll give the choice to an employee to choose either bank payment or check or both with split percentage. That will configure under payment election rules. Then pay groups. Pay group is nothing but a bridge between Workday and HCM, where it brings the employee from HCM master data into the pay calculation engine. Here, we are going to group employees who is having similar payroll characteristics. An example, grouping all monthly employees into one pay group, grouping all semi-monthly employees into one pay group, grouping weekly paid employees into one pay group. We have to group all these employees. In other way, we also have pay run group. That's a different concept. We'll talk once we start our regular session. Then after define earnings and deductions, one of the trickiest, interesting, and trickiest interesting part is this configuration of earnings and deduction, because here we have a new topics called calculations and related calculations. Let me explain from basics. So compensation team or a compensation consultant, or let's say compensation admin, once they have configured the compensation plans, a basic pay, a car allowance, a housing allowance, a bonus payment, and a mobile allowance, uniform allowance. They will create the plans and they will assign plans to the employees. Now a payroll consultant required to create an earning for each compensation plan. We have to create an earning for basic pay. You have to create an earning for car allowance. You have to create an earning for mobile allowance or uniform allowance. And here you will define who is eligible for this earning. What are the taxes needs to be calculated on this earning? But this earning is part of a gross. Okay, so this we will configure on these earnings. Next, deductions. So when I said deductions, we have standard deductions. Two types of deductions normally we have: standard deductions, additional deductions. When I say standard deduction, those are nothing but taxes. Additional deduction means an employee may take the loan and the employee has to repay it. For that, we have to create a deduction. An employee may take salary advance, then the employee may have to repay. Okay, or let's say an advance payment. Those are nothing but additional deductions or benefit deductions. So here we'll talk in detail about earnings and deductions. Then what is the minimum information required in order to create an earning and deduction? Okay, it's like a prerequisites. What details we need to set up the earnings and deduction. That also we'll discuss, and how to bring the bonus amount into the earning, if it's a percentage or flat amount. Then pay component groups. Several pay component groups are delivered by Workday. However, if you want to create a unique pay comp group for calculation of compensation, for calculation of benefits, or for calculation of payroll itself, we can create a pay component group. And then criteria. Which run category these earnings and deductions are eligible, and which pay group is eligible for these earnings and deductions, and who are all eligible for these earnings and deductions. That we have to capture under criteria. Then calculation details. We have different types of calculation. Almost, I believe, 70% of calculations are already delivered by Workday. 70%. They're delivered almost all calculation. However, different client might have a different requirements. Then we may require to build some calculations based on the client requirement. Here first we'll try to understand what are the types of calculations we have. Let me list out a few first. We have conditional calculation, logic calculation, arithmetic calculation, instance set comparison, instance value calculation, constant value calculations, aggregation, a few more calculations we have. Okay, so here we're going to learn first an overview of what are the calculations we have, for which object we have to bring, or we have to create, for which object we have to select the right calculation. That will understand here, and I will come with some scenarios, like a custom calculation we need to build in order to bring the benefit amount into the payroll, or let's say an earning compensation amount into the payroll. Okay, that will talk. Then compensation elements. These are the bridge between compensation and payroll. So when you create a compensation plan, as you said, you guys already completed the core HCM. I believe you might know how to create a compensation plan. In that compensation plan, you might using the compensation element. That element will brings the total amount assigned to an employee into the pay calculation engine, which we need to tag under earning compensation elements. So I will discuss once we. Then how to bring the benefit plan amount into the payroll. So here what we're going to learn, we're going to create a deduction called 401k. Okay, and how to bring that 401k deduction into the payroll, whosoever eligible, whosoever associated with this benefit plan. Then costing. Sometimes you may require to pay salaries from two different cost center. So we have to split the costing allocation, 50% from cost center A, 50% from cost center B. We have such scenarios, we can use this costing. Then limits. So deduction, for example, if you say 401k, there is a maximum contribution, like let's say 45,000 US dollars or 47,000 US dollars. I'm sorry, I'm not clear with the number. I'm just taking an example. It should not pay more than that amount. Any employee, including traditional and growth plans, retirement savings plans, should not pay more than certain amount. So we have to put a limit. Okay, though the employee is paying like catch-up contribution, you should not go beyond that limit. So how to configure that limit? That also will discuss on earnings and deductions. Then after we have taxes. So as I said, we are learning US payroll. So first I'll explain the overview of tax, like what is meant by FICA, Federal Insurance Contribution Act. Under that we have OASDI, Old Age Savings Deposit Insurance, then Medicare tax. So what are the percentages, how to calculate, how to define employer identification number for a unique company, and then after Federal Unemployment Insurance FUI, we will going to talk about the three taxes. Then after state taxes, residence tax, work tax, and which states are tax exempted, and which states the tax is more, how to capture the additional taxes other than the state in each, that also we'll discuss, and also SUI, state unemployment insurance. Then here we're going to configure all the taxes. Along with that, how to assign the tax selections to an employees, and if an employee work more than one location, one tax year, then the employer liable to pay the tax in both the states, which is nothing but multiple work tax jurisdiction. So how to capture and how to split the percentage the employer has worked in both the states, that also we will discuss. Then after withholding orders, other terms you can also call it as garnishments. So here we have different types of garnishments or withholding orders we have. So we will first discuss about overview of withholding orders, like child support garnishment, spouse support garnishment, federal garnishment, state garnishment, creditor garnishments, okay, charities. So we'll talk about all these garnishments overview. Then after we will create creditor garnishments, and I will give an activity for practice. So what we're going to learn here, how to record a garnishment, what are the prerequisites we need in order to create a garnishment, how to handle the dates, order date, order receive date, effective date of the garnishment, and how to handle this garnishment in such scenario, in few scenarios, like you may require to hold the garnishment because the cost order, if it is hold, here also we have to hold the garnishment. How to hold a garnishment, how to terminate a garnishment, how to add additional amount to an existing garnishment, how to create a new recipient, and how to define the employer fee when you configure the garnishment, and also identify the disposable net, that also we'll discuss, and how if the employer have multiple garnishment, how to identify the priority, okay, and finally how to view a garnishment for a worker, that also we'll discuss. Then chapter 6 deals with payroll accounting. Here we are going to talk about how to run the run pay accounting, and once you initiate the run pay account, how the ledger accounts will be generated and grouped with each earnings, that also we'll discuss here. And one thing I want to highlight here, we are not going to talk about accounting setup because this is not part of a payroll consultant. Account people, finance people will be configured. However, I will give some heads up on this area, overview of payroll accounting. Then after how to create, this is also part of finance, but I have worked in this area, that's why I have added to this. The setup, banking and settlements. So how to create banks and bank branches, and how to define routing rules, how to configure payslip for different countries, how to manage or how to override the components on the payslip, how to hide the components if you don't want to, and how to hide the payslip from the employee, that also we'll discuss. Then after configure settlement. Okay, this is nothing but sending amount to the banks. Of course, here we're not building any integration. Functional perspective, we have to create or run the settlement run so that paychecks you can generate, so that you can get total amount need to be paid for the employees for this cycle. Those we can do through this settlement run. Then payroll related security, configure roles and security, like payroll partner, payroll admin. In addition to this, we'll also discuss I will create a custom security group, which is nothing but service center representative. Okay, that security group also will discuss. And next, payroll related business processes also we will discuss in this area. Then payroll input and processing. So any amount which is not part of compensation, sorry, let me say in this way. Any earning which is not part of employees compensation, any deduction which is not part of tax deduction, we have to process through the payroll input. An example, loan payment. Loan payment is nothing but an earning, but it's not part of employee compensation, right? It's a benefit given by the employer. However, the employee has to repay that amount in certain months. For that loan payment, we have to create an earning, and loan repayment, we have to create a deduction. And these two values has to pass through the payroll input. Okay, this is a unique concept and interesting. Here you will talk about a overview of payroll input process and enter a override and make a special entry, loan configurations, and how to configure loan amount, how to process it, and how to create a deduction for repayment of the loan, how to maintain the pay accumulation, and also excuse me, pay balances, how to maintain pay balances. That also we'll discuss here. Then after the end-to-end payroll process, how to run and complete a payroll. Okay, like we have a process in the payroll cycle, like run pay calculation. It is the first simulation. In that again you have smart pay calculation. Smart pay calculation with events are only generate workers or run the payroll based on the status, and how to hold an employee from the pay cycle, and if you got any errors, how to handle it, how to cancel the simulation payroll run. Okay, that also we'll talk. So run pay calculation, run pay accounting, run pay complete, and create settlement run. This is the payroll complete end-to-end process. If you get any issues or errors, so how to handle such situations, like run pay cancel, pay and complete cancel, and hold an employee. And once you simulate the pay cycle, how Workday pay calculation engine is going to evaluate the pay results. That also end-to-end we will discuss. Apart from this, we will also talk about how to process an off-cycle payment, how to reverse a payment which you already paid or not paid, which is in process, and on-cycle, on-demand payment, and off-cycle on-demand payment, and adjustments and overrides also we will discuss. Yeah, this is about the course content, and of course for each chapter we will also do some testing. So once we configure a chapter, we have to perform a testing, like whether the configuration as per the design or not. So testing is already included for each topics.
Hello.
Hey Manisha.
Yeah, I can't hear you. There was a lot of disturbance when you were talking. I couldn't hear the last part, what you were saying.
Actually, I'm sitting in a closed room, but still not a problem. I will help you.
This, especially that on cycle and off cycle, I totally missed it because there was some disturbance.
No problem. Let me help you. So here we're going to discuss about end-to-end pay cycle process, like how to run an on cycle, how to run an off cycle, and how to cancel a pay cycle if something went wrong. And we also in Workday payroll we'll also have a few events like smart calculation with events. For example, you're running payroll for 100 employees. Sorry, in a pay group you have 100 employees, but you have done market correction only for 10 employees. Okay, among 100 employees, you have done market correction for 10 employees with by overriding the compensation. Now the question here, you have to evaluate whether when you run the payroll for this current month, those results are populating or not. But you have to run the payroll only for the 10 employees, not for 100 employees. How to handle such situation? How to run payroll for entire group? So those also we'll discuss here. off-cycle payment, on-cycle payment, on-demand payment, and overriding, adjusting the payments, and reversal, and again process, recalculation, how to put employee on hold, how to complete payroll manually, manual to complete status. That also we'll discuss. Yeah.
And this will be like, as the Indian payroll and the US payroll, there are some differences. So will it be like according to the US, or how will it go?
It's according to the US, Manisha. So
Okay.
India, we don't have Indian payroll so far from Workday.
Okay.
So we have payroll only for 4 countries, as I said. So here we
Okay.
are going to learn only US payroll. Yeah.
And I had some more questions.
Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead. I'm happy. Yeah.
So like when we are doing the class, so will you be giving the demo of the exercises, like because I have done HCM core, but like will you be walking us through like how to do the lab work?
Right. So we will give the material here. In the material, each activity hold and each chapter holds several activities. Okay. I request you guys to do that activities. If you stuck somewhere, or if you're not clear with the requirement, or you got some errors, I'll help you in fixing those. Apart from that, I will also give some activities.
And what will be your availability? Like, during the class, we are doing the chapter, and but when we are doing the activities, and if we have questions, so how do you take? Assign time for the question and answers, like whatever
Yes.
difficulty we are having. How is that
Got
taken
it.
care?
So I agree. It's a good question. So Manisha, actually, I'm also working and I'm managing 2 projects. I'm not sure about my timings. So if you stuck somewhere or if you have any questions, what we can do once we complete our regular session in the next day, I will hold the session. Whosoever have some questions, I'll spend some additional time for them until those issues will be resolved.
Okay. Okay. And is there any like a discussion board, like we can post the questions, like some questions like it doesn't require like how to do it, it's just the question. So do we post the question on discussion board and you can answer? How is it?
Uh, I can say simply yes, but I may not respond on time
Okay.
because I'm not supposed to take my mobile inside, or I'm not. I mean, I don't have Gmail access as well where I'm working. So
Okay.
that's the challenge. So that's why the next day, whatever the issues you have, if you can make a note, hey, I got the error here, and I'm not clear with the requirement. Once we complete our regular session, I'll spend additional time. We'll resolve those.
Okay. Yeah, that's the issue. Like we learn, but when we really do it, there are some errors we face. So that's the problem, like how to do that, how to come out of it. So that's the issue. Like I have faced, but it wasn't like properly resolved. That's what I can say. So that's my
No,
main
no, your
concern.
question
Like,
is very valid, Manisha. I agree, your question is very valid. As I said, mm, only the time limit and not accessible for Gmail.
right.
Yeah.
But since the course has like a number of hours, and if we are asking questions during class time, so that will cut short the class time, right?
It
So
will,
how
right,
is
right, it
that
will
matter?
impact. Yeah, it will be impact. So I will request, if possible, when I'm going to a session, make a notes immediately what a question you have. I will hold at at one level. You can we'll discuss those questions. Also, once we start the session, I will start with some questions itself so that you will evaluate or you will analyze what we have learned yesterday. It also help you to think what might be the answer. So I can do that help as well. Yeah.
Okay. And what timing will be the class?
That will be organizer will let you know that timing. Um,
Okay.
that we have to still discuss. Maybe today we'll discuss and let you know.
And one more last, sorry. So for the benefits, like I wanted to learn the benefits as well. So does advance compensation comes under benefits, or
No, no,
it
no.
comes under this part?
Okay. Sure. Actually, the person also told me to explain about that. Coming to your question, benefits are different and advanced compensation is different. Both are different.
Oh, okay. They both are
So,
different.
Hey, David.
so yeah, so that's just a perfect question. That leads me to my question. So, do you need to do advanced compensation before you do payroll, or it doesn't matter what order you do it in?
Okay, this is about payroll. I heard a few people join whosoever wants to learn payroll and compensation. Please bear me for a few minutes. I will start advanced compensation as well. I will help you what we are going to learn in that.
Okay, okay, that's good. But my question is, do you need to know advanced compensation before you do payroll, or it doesn't
No, no.
matter whether you?
So I will
Okay,
say for everyone when you choose payroll, okay. Some people how the world is working in my I should not say world. The people who are they will concentrate only that payroll. Okay, if they stuck, for example, let me tell you one thing. They're creating an earning for car allowance. I'm just giving an example. They're creating earning for car allowance. The eligibility they have created, compensation element they have assigned, workday delivered calculation they have selected, tax groups they have assigned. They tested for an employee. The compensation is not visible in the payslip. The question here, the payroll consultant will assume or think, hey, I configured my earning properly. It seems the compensation person has to fix this issue. Then he will post a question to that person. Could you please check whether the compensation plan assigned to this employee so and so date, or the compensation plan is still in progress, is not completed. That's why I'm not getting. He will just pose the question. They have to check and they will come back to this point. So if you know both, that is more advantage. Or if you know only one, that is also fine. So, but in my context, a payroll consultant means the person should know all the modules, but only few people will work in that way. Yeah. So
okay,
because when you run it right, we should know benefit. For example, you're creating a benefit deduction for healthcare. You create a deduction for that, and you're testing the deduction. It's supposed to show, let's say it's a percentage based one, 10% on the compensation, 10% on the gross. That value is not retrieving. So we should know how to go and fix the benefit plan. We have to identify is it issue in the plan level assigned for the worker or the configuration which we configure. Yeah, the advantage is if you learn all the module, I mean all the module sense, that will be more advantage. And it's not prerequisite. We must manually have to know benefits or advanced compensation for payroll. That also I will say. It's based on the confidence and requirements.
okay. Sorry. And then in payroll, do you usually have one consultant that deals with all of the topics that you've listed here, or do you have maybe 2 or 3 consultants that are dealing with different areas or specialize in different areas here, or do you expect the consultant to know all of these topics in payroll?
Good one. So I would say we should know all of the topics, and the most important one is these 2 chapters. When you say US payroll, the complex thing is tax setup. However, Workday has simplified it. We should know the percentages. What is the employee contribution? What is the employer contribution? And if it's configuring for a state, what is the state percentage of configurations? We should be aware of those. So these are the only little trickiest ones. The rest of the chapters is very easy to understand. At the same time, handling the situation. I will give an example again. You're supposed to run the let's say you're running payroll for monthly employees, and your payroll cutover is 25th. Your 25th you run the payroll. Okay, you run the payroll for 25th, and for 25th you run the payroll for 50 employees. Then when you're evaluating the results, you have noticed 15 employees getting zero payment. 15 employees getting zero payment. You started one day it has done, you're not able to crack the issue. Second day it has done, you're not able to crack the issue. Third day you have to pay the salary for the employees. Still you are not able to solve that issue. I'm just giving an example. The question here, are we going to hold a salary? Saying that, hey, I'm not able to fix the 3 issues. Let ask the employee to hold. No, right? we have to find another alternate way for the situation. So if we can learn all the chapters, we will think in that way, how to handle such situation. It's a payroll, these things quite common at the end of the running payroll. So these two chapters are more important, but if you can learn all the chapters, that will be more helpful. It's a package.
Okay, because obviously I'm based in the UK, and obviously I know that you said Workday provides payroll for 4 countries: UK, France, Canada, and US. How similar is what I'm learning here to UK payroll?
Good question. So except this area, everything is common for all the payrolls. Except this area, tax will be quite different for each country. Here, what the taxes we are going to learn is completely different for UK and completely different for Canada, France. This is the only difference. The rest of the things setups are common. However, when you're working on where is that? Calculations, we have to, so Workday delivered the groups and calculation for country specific. For UK they have delivered, France they have delivered, Canada and USA. We have to set the right calculation. There we will be little conscious. Rest of the setup is quite common for all 4 countries. This is the only area.
And where would I be able to pick up the information to help me understand what it is for the UK in this area? Are you going to touch on it? Or?
Yeah, I got your question, David. You know, complete end-to-end tax process of UK.
Sorry?
So you know complete end-to-end tax process for UK?
No.
Okay. Because I'm also not good at UK tax process. So if not, I can help you in that area. So this is completely different for UK.
Okay.
So here we will say federal. Of course, it might be similar, but terminology and the tax components might be different.
Okay. Would you be able to advise where to get materials for that during the course? Or I don't know.
Sorry, David. Can you please come again?
I was saying, would you be able to advise where I could get materials to cover that area for the UK?
I can help you.
Okay.
So let's do that then. Not a problem. Even I will learn. We both will learn UK tax processing.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, not a problem.
Okay.
You have to spend some additional time. Nothing else. That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question.
Okay.
What
Yes,
about inbound outbound process, EABs and integration? I'm looking at reports.
So as I said initially, types in-house payroll, external payroll. When we are talking about in-house payroll, is fully functional. External payroll is into the integration, where we will talk about pick-off, payee, payroll-related integrations. That we are not going to discuss here because I'm a functional guy. So all my 8 years in Workday are functional. Yeah.
This is all payroll processing, what you are saying all about payroll processing, but I'm looking at reporting.
Okay.
Is it payroll reports and EABs will covered in the training?
EIBs, you're talking about inbound EIBs or outbound EIBs?
Both.
If you guys want, I can tell you, it doesn't take more than an hour, but those are part of integration. And let me tell you, honestly, I'm not an integration expert. So maybe whenever you might ask
reports.
Report. Those things are part of HCM. So here we're not going to discuss, but
Okay. Just we want to make sure, like, majorly we are looking for the payroll reports. What our basic criteria for the training? So we are already working in Workday to be improve our skills.
Right. I can understand. It seems you're looking for integration and reporting mostly.
Yeah.
Because these all
One question I have.
The payroll, yes.
Yeah, I have one question, Anjan. So you know how to get a custom report, right?
Yes.
Okay. So then I mean, I'm just trying to understand. When you create a custom report, then 33,000 plus fields are readily available in Workday for including payroll, and of course to generate the result line for pay earnings and all, you may have to require calculated fields. I'm not expert in that area. Sorry.
actually,
Okay.
I know normal reports how to, but
Mhm.
I'm looking advanced, like how the cross fields working, the main,
No.
like when
Sorry.
integration got error, which were mainly I'm looking.
So what are the modules you can teach apart from the payroll?
Next demand as per the organizer is for advanced compensation. So
Advanced compensation, okay.
let me walk through that as well. And of course, I don't have a readily curriculum, but I will list out what we're going to. I have one question before that. So you guys, either David or Manisha or Anjan, so you guys know the compensation, right? Core
We
compensation.
don't know compensation, we know only payroll.
I know
I
basic compensation, but we didn't dive deep into it. It was just like very basic because my trainer, he concentrated mostly on the like basic recruiting, and we did learn EIBs. But
Not,
for as the reporting question was going on, there is something called BERT report. I think that's not the part of HCM. Is that a part of this payroll? What is
no.
it?
BERT stands for Business Intelligence Report Tooling, and again, that is part of Studio integration.
Oh,
Those are
okay,
integration related. Okay, I
integration.
will list out
so
what we're
I
going to. Sorry, guys. Yes, David.
yeah, so I do know about core compensation from HCM. Obviously,
Okay.
I know about the eligibility rules, compensation package, compensation grades, compensation profiles, stuff like that. The plans, the different types of plans, salary plan, car allowance, and stuff like that.
No
So
problem.
yes, I
No
know.
problem. I will list out from core to advanced now. Please bear me.
Okay.
I'm going to list out because when you say advanced component, first of all, we should know core compensation. Okay. So most of the people will think if you know how to get a basic pay, if you know how to get a allowance, that's it core, but not. Some complex conditional we have to build, and some. Okay, first let me list out. We'll talk about. So what we're going to learn, I'm going to include both core and advanced here. The first you're going to learn about overview of compensation and how this compensation is integrated with different modules, how this compensation data is integrated with HCM, integrated with talent and performance, integrated with payroll, we'll discuss. Then after, we'll talk about first compensation eligibility rules. Okay. Compensation grades and grade profiles. Then after, sorry, salary plan and allowance plans, amount based, person based, unit based. Then unit salary plan, periodic salary plan is also will discuss. Then after, yeah, compensation package. Then compensation package analytics. Then after bonus, Sorry. Bonus plan configuration. Configurations and process to assign to an employee. On top of that, stock option configuration. Then merit plan. Merit plan assign or initiation to employees, but we are working as a GMS tenant. The only problem in the merit plan when initiating, we will include only few employees, but because the GMS tenant, it will also include other employees. Some discrepancy will come. That's okay. We can handle it. Apart from that, compensation specific business processes. Like request compensation change, propose compensation change, propose compensation new hire.
Hi Kiran, sorry to disturb you. I'm getting a pop-up which says the organizer is experiencing technical difficulties. Unless the organizer rejoins, the meeting will end in 60 minutes. What should I do?
Oh, sorry, I'm not aware of that. Everyone is facing the same issue?
No, I'm not having the same issue. It's fine.
We'll do one thing. Can you please rejoin again? Do you mind? Please leave the session and please rejoin again. I think that will resolve. Sorry, I forgot to include one-time payments. So proposed compensation you had, one-time payment, then after merit BP. And we will talk about the best practices, how to manage and maintain the compensation, like how to override an existing compensation to an employee, how to do market corrections or cost of living corrections on compensation. And if you get a requirement like delete a compensation plan, what are the best practices we have to take care when inactivating a delete a plan from the employee list? So yeah, that also we'll discuss. And don't mind, I just list out. Actually, each topic have several further steps. Currently, I don't have access to that. The one we have created, that's why I listed out manually. So any questions here? Manisha, David,
Yeah. Are you going to cover things like compensation review?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to cover that?
Compensation review?
Yeah.
Review compensation? I mean, once you assign to the employees, we have to run the repost to make sure no errors, and also assign to the right compensation plans or assign to the right templates. Those things you're saying? Review compensation means once you configure, we have to review the plans. That is one. Or once you assign the plans to an employee, we have to review to make sure all the eligible employees should get the plans.
So this is related to the end of year reviews.
Okay. Gotcha. Correct. Those are nothing but market corrections and all. Got it. Yeah, we're going to cover that review.
Okay.
So what happens if the employee, I will give an example. At the end of year, some employees might be promoted, some employees might be demoted. And
Yes.
also we have to process the merit process. You have to override the amount which is defaulted from the performance. Yeah, those will handle. Yes, I got it.
Okay.
Okay, any questions?
I have a question that relates both to compensation and payroll. So in terms of hours and sessions, how long would it take to do the payroll and how long would it take to do the advanced compensation?
So David, actually for payroll, payroll will plan 15 days.
15 days.
15 days. However, let me tell you one thing. When you say 15 days, it's based on the questions you guys asking. And
Okay.
for instance, you might be stuck in some activity. I have to spend some additional time there, correct?
Yeah.
It may go beyond 2, 3, 4 days like that, extra additionally. So my plan to cover in 15 days. Okay. It will go few more days for payroll, and compensation also is required. Compensation we can cover in 12 days, not a problem. But
Okay.
payroll is end to end here we are going to cover, so it needs more time.
Okay.
Of course, compensation also end to end we are covering, but these are straightforward setup. Testing is very less here, but here the testing part is more in payroll because we have concept called calculation. That calculation itself we have discussed 3 sessions, 2 to 3 sessions. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
How many
So,
hours is that course, Kiran, for payroll and compensation?
so if you can include both, we need at least 1 month, Manisha.
So it's like, is it like for 30 hours or 40 hours for payroll and for
Payroll,
compensation?
yeah, payroll. The initial plan is to cover in 20 hours.
Okay.
Okay. However, as I said, based on the questions you guys asking,
Okay.
and based on understanding, and based on sometimes we may get tenant issues as well. The
Yes.
tenant will be refreshed. Again, we have to configure. So, including those 20 hours, yeah, we can do. And if you guys are able to join in Sunday, if everyone is okay, we can spend 2 to 3 hours additionally. So that if you think once we start, if you think we're getting late, sorry, we are running behind the schedule, we can catch up by taking some additional sessions on weekend. That's support I will give.
And you teach benefits as well?
Of course, yes.
Okay. Okay. So that will be a different module then.
That's a different module.
Okay.
Benefits is more interesting. Yeah, I can teach that also.
Okay.
So I can list out if you guys are, if you guys are okay, what
Sure.
we are going to do benefits. Okay, as usual, overview of benefits. Okay, and benefits are not like country specific here. You can create set up benefits for any country, no restrictions. Similarly, compensation also. And here we're going to talk about first overview of benefits. We'll distinguish the difference between healthcare, insurance, retirement, additional, flexible. Healthcare, insurance, retirement, spending, flexible. One I'm missing. Medical, insurance, retirement. Okay. Oh, sorry. One is not hitting in my mind. Okay. Then these are nothing but coverage types. Then after, benefit groups. Benefit eligibility. Eligibility rules. I will explain once I type eligibility rules. Dependent eligibility rules. Enrollment event rules. Benefit events. Electronic signatures. healthcare rates, insurance rates, benefit defaults, auto enroll, and cross plan dependency. And benefit instructions. Open enrollment. This is one of the biggest topic. Open enrollment. I'm not including all. It's a big topic. Reminder mails we have to send, initiate the process, evaluate the eligible employees, hold the employees, and bring the employees who are eligible for this cycle. That's a very big process. I just high level I'm explaining. So open enrollment process, then plan year definition. Everything is told. Yeah. Of course, few more are there. Whatever in my mind, I just put it in this document. So what we're going to first, we're going to learn about the overview of benefits. What do you mean by benefit? How a benefit is different from a compensation. A benefit might be an earning. A benefit can be a deduction also. Okay, how to distinguish both. Then after, what are the healthcare benefits, insurance benefits, retirement benefits, retirement savings benefits, additional benefits, and flexible spending account. This is exclusive for USA. And so these coverage tests will select, and also we will also discuss about like how to hide the employer contribution, how to hide employee contribution, and employee self-service enabled security and benefit related business processes. Then after, different types of coverage types, benefit groups, benefit dependent eligibility rules, enrollment event rules, benefit event. Another one, the important one is passive event. And passive event rules and scheduled events. So benefit events are nothing but reasons. Okay, why are you assigning a plan to an employee? Because of new hire, or employee got promoted, or employee got terminated, so that's why you are removing the plans from an employee. You need a reason. That is nothing but an event. Enrollment event rules are nothing but a centralized control. Like, do you want to assign the plan right away when the hire an employee, or you want to make the employee wait for certain period like 30 days or 45 days, then only you have to assign the plan? And do you want to start the benefit plan deduction, coverage type and benefit plan deduction on the same time, or do you want to assign multiple plans which is assigned to one event, or only one plan for one event? Those are controlled by the enrollment event rules. Then after, electronic signatures. So whenever the employees are enrolled into the benefits, they have to agree and bind to the company policies. So we will list out the instructions. They have to do an electronic signature by acknowledging, yes, I gone through all the instructions which are given, so I'm okay with that. The healthcare rates. So whatever the client has given, the rates has to be captured, and insurance rates, benefits defaults. So for example, the client said we are processing benefits with AXA. However, in Workday, I want to maintain the benefit plans to the worker, but deduction should be come from external benefit processing. Okay, so the benefit rates, what are the contributions, will be default from externally, not at plan level. So in that case, we will use benefit defaults. Auto enroll. Some plans are we have to do mandate. Some plans you have to do mandate. Some plans an employee interest, employee can enroll or employee can't, but some plans is mandatory, employee have to enroll. So those plans we will do auto enroll. So what happens, whenever you hire an employee, or whenever the employee turns certain age, automatically the plan will be assigned to the worker. Then cross plan dependency, which is nothing but, sometimes you may have to force an employee to select both plans. Sometimes you have to force an employee to select either one of the plan, not both plans. Such scenarios we can deal with cross plan dependency. Then benefit instructions, a set of instructions employee has to go through. Okay, how to assign the plan to themselves. So those instructions how to map, and exactly which plan, for which plan you want to trigger this instruction, that configuration we have to do. open enrollment process is like a big chapter. So every year you can take in US. I hope everybody from US and UK. At certain time or certain month, we had initiated open enrollment. So all eligible employees has to enroll into the plans. At the same time, some employees might not be eligible, but company wants to give those benefits. How to bring those employees into them? How to hold the employees who not take this? Okay, how to send the reminders to an employee saying that this window is going to be closed so and so date. That will be falls under open enrollment, and which business process will be triggered. Then passive events, then plan year definition is like till how many years this benefit plans are eligible for the worker. Start of year, end of year. It can be extended later if you want. Then passive events, let's say you are giving the healthcare plan and a parent has, I'm sorry, how to say, let's say an employee called John. John is enrolled into the healthcare plan. As per the company policy, John also can enroll dependents into the plan. However, the dependent age once turned to 24, the dependent is no longer eligible for this plan. Okay, I'm repeating. Once the dependent age turned to 24, dependent is no longer eligible for the healthcare plan. So how we will do? Are we going to do manually to check all 10,000 employees or 1 million employees? No, we need some automation. That is nothing but passive event. So you have to create a rule here. Once the dependent eligibility turned 24 as of date, and automatically the plan should be waived from the worker. Okay, that we will set up to the passive events, rules and schedules.